How you doing, guys? This is Anon21486. Welcome you to my next video. This video is actually going to be a special video because it is going to be talking about Anime Boston. I'm going to be concentrating on two things, or two particular subjects in this video. One of them is the weather, and the other one is little tricks that I have learned throughout the years. So without further ado, let's begin. As you guys may have not noticed by now, Anime Boston is this weekend, and of course, Boston will be experiencing, for the first time in Anime Boston history, snow. Now, those of you who don't know me, I'm actually on the forum quite actively, specifically for weather, so I've been keeping track of the weather since, I will probably say, January of this year, and I've been giving my thoughts. I've pretty much said that it was going to be colder than normal, which looks like it is going to be colder than normal, but I've also said that snow is unpredictable, or rain is unpredictable either. And sure enough, the weather mets out there, all of the weather mets I follow anyway, they are predicting snow of some kind or another. Now, what does this mean for the Con-Goers? Well, it just means that it's going to snow, but it also means that it's going to rain. See, this particular storm will, well, as of this time anyway, it looks like it's going to start off as it's going to start off as a mix, quickly changing into snow, and it's going to start accumulating. Now, how much accumulation? We don't know, because, you know, it's still a couple of days away. In fact, I think it's 2 days away, and quite frankly, they've been wrong every single storm system since then. So, yeah, as of now, it is predicted to be 1 to 3 inches, even though yesterday was a dusting to 1 inch. And I have a feeling that tomorrow is going to be 2 to 4 inches, but that's just me and my prediction anyway. Yeah, but this storm is going to be unique, and the reason why it's very unpredictable to know the storm totals or the snow totals is the fact that it's supposed to change to rain. See, the timing of this storm starts off Friday afternoon, going into the night as full snow, and then changing over to rain. So by Saturday morning, it's going to be all rain. Now, I did hear that by Saturday afternoon or Saturday late morning into the afternoon, it's going to change back into snow. But in all honesty, I don't think any of that snow will stick, just because it's going to be already wet due to all the rain, and you know, it's just going to be a sloppy mess. Now, for those of you traveling into Boston, because I know people are leaving their place of living as of today, or as of this video anyway, and I wanted to put this video out before then, just to give them a heads up on the weather. Definitely bring a jacket of some kind. I mean, even though I do say you don't have to bring a heavy jacket, definitely bring a jacket, definitely bring an umbrella or a rain jacket or raincoat, because you are going to experience rain. Now, this storm also has another issue, which is wind, and quite frankly, this storm is going to be a nor'easter or a nor'easter type storm, so do expect it to be windy Friday afternoon, Friday evening, Saturday, all day basically. Now, how windy is it going to be? I don't know. To be honest, I've heard anything from, I'll probably say 10 miles per hour to 20 miles per hour, which doesn't seem like a lot, but at the same time, we do have wind gusts going up to 30 miles per hour or even 40 miles per hour. But, you know, they're still working on kinks on that. So do expect that as well. For the people who are going to Anime Boston, that means definitely have a grip on your wigs, on your props, anything like that. Jumping into the tips and tricks, or in my case, you know, some of the things that I've experienced, I want to do a little bit of advice for you guys, especially for the newer Con-Goers or the Con-Goers who sporadically come. Definitely know your entrances. Now, I'm going to stress this out a lot just because last year there was a line from the Prudential Center that was roughly, or I've heard it was about an hour, 45 minutes just to get into the convention center. Now, honestly, that line probably shouldn't have happened because they did have the security checkpoint and they did have metal detectors, which quite honestly I think was a stupid move, but that's my opinion and that's a lot of people's opinion in that matter. But, and this is the big but, people relied heavily on going through the Prudential Center. Now, nothing wrong with going in the Prudential Center to go into the Heinz Convention Center, but when there's a large crowd of people trying to go into one single entrance, you know, that defeats the purpose of the other entrances. And last year there were actually 3 other entrances. One of them was the Artist Alley, which they actually closed for a little bit, just for and I'm not gonna say security reasons, but it was for accommodation for the Sheraton Hotel. They also opened the Dalton entrance, which for the most part was the first year they've ever used the Dalton entrance, or the Dalton Street entrance. I don't know if that was a street or avenue. And of course we have the Boylston Street entrance, which is the one I usually go to because I do plan ahead. Now, as I said before, I've heard that it was about an hour and a half to an hour 45 minutes for the Prudential. Well, the other entrances at that same time were roughly between 10 to 25 minutes. So, yeah, it's a huge difference. So definitely know your entrances. Second advice I can give you is if you guys are bringing bags, definitely be aware that they are going to be checking bags before entering the Heinz Convention Center, and you know, just be courteous in that. Like, don't pack too much in the bags. If you are going to pack a lot, like for example you have a whole bunch of snacks or food or, you know, makeup that you need to put in there and you want it, I'm going to honestly say get a Ziploc bag, like a large Ziploc bag. Put all the little items into that Ziploc bag and then put it into your backpack, because from time to time they're going to ask you to empty out your bag. So that way it's a little neater on you guys. It's a lot easier on them because they could just see through the Ziploc bag, and you know, it's a lot more courteous to all the other con-goers behind you. Now, talking about courtesy, another thing with the bags and courtesy is to open your bags before getting to the table. Now, I have seen multiple times last year where a person will carry the bag, they'll get called in to the security table to check their bags, then they'll place their bag on the table and start opening it up and emptying and all that, and that's actually quite time consuming. So I would probably say, if you know you're going to be the next one up, or if you know you're the next or the second person up, you know, definitely start opening the pockets, opening the sides, all the ones that you feel safe opening up before getting to the table. And then when you put it on the table, the bag's already open, and that's it. They'll just check in there, ask you to empty it or anything like that, and then you're on your way in. It saves a lot of time. I mean, even though, say, 1 minute doesn't seem like a much, or even though 30 seconds doesn't seem like a much, just multiply that time by the thousands and thousands, and it does add up over time. Another advice I should give is check Anime Boston's social media outlets. Now, Facebook and Twitter, they do have Facebook and Twitter, and they do post on both of them during the convention itself. And most of the time, it is actually useful information. For example, last year at Anime Boston, when I went over there, I got the little tweet from Anime Boston saying that the Artist Alley was closed because of just because it was being overpopulated. So basically they had it open just for the artists, the guests, and handicap. And yeah, that's something I wouldn't have gone to. So what did I do? I actually read that on my phone and started walking to the Boylston entrance because I was going to avoid the Prudential entrance at all costs. At that time, I actually walked by the Dalton entrance, which I didn't even know was a door, but they were letting people in. So I figured, okay, let me go in there. And sure enough, one of the tweets shortly after was the Dalton Heinz security was opening the Dalton entrance. And yeah, it's very, very useful just because it keeps you informed of what's going on at Anime Boston. Specifically with certain things, like certain guidelines that need to be followed, or even knowing when the entrances are open or closed. For example, this year, we know that Anime Boston is going to have 4 entrances, which is the Prudential entrance, the Boylston entrance, the Dalton entrance, and the Artist Alley entrance. Now, we all know that the Artist Alley entrance does not open until Artist Alley is open. But the Dalton entrance is the new addition this year. Well, technically it was the new addition last year, but it was on trial. This year it's the new addition, and it is going to be open only for peak hours. Now, peak hours is typically Saturday mid-morning to late afternoon. But yeah, it's going to be open to that time. So I'm going to be paying attention to the Twitter account of Anime Boston. And they're going to be notifying when it's open, when it's closed, when Artist Alley's open, when Artist Alley's closed, and so and so. Now, another thing they also did last year, which I actually appreciate a lot, is that they actually went around and gave estimated time of waiting in line per entrance, which I think that was a nice touch, and they should definitely do it this year, even though I'm probably going to do it on my Twitter as well. Third advice I can give, or was this fourth? I honestly don't know. Yeah, I lost count. But the next advice, anyway, is use your phone smart. Or smartly use your phone. I don't know how to phrase that, but what I mean by that is that your phone is a great source of technology, and quite frankly, you are going to be connected to the internet in some way or another, whether it's the Heinz Wi-Fi or whether it is your mobile data. Now, why am I saying use it wisely or use it smartly? Yeah, use it wisely would actually be the nicer term and the perfect term for it. But yeah, digressing from that, why am I saying that? Because Anime Boston uses an app called Guidebook. Now, those of you who don't know what Guidebook is an app that you download on Android or iOS that has the entire schedule of the convention. And yes, they've posted the entire schedule of the convention on there. So there really is no excuse, because it is a free download, to not have that on your phone during the convention hours. Now, the reason why this is important is that, things change during the convention. And Guidebook is actually a good way to be notified of any of the changes. The best example is that, let's say you want to go to a panel or something, and then the room changes. On Guidebook, it will actually tell you the room has changed and show you where the change is. Same thing with times and anything like that. So it is definitely worth downloading it just for the purpose of being notified. Now, for those of you who don't have mobile devices or anything internet related or internet accessible, definitely go to the information desk. Any changes will also be notified there, or on the multiple TV screens at every single room will also list the changes. From my experience, the TVs don't really give much detail of the changes. It will just say when the next one is, and that's it. So if you see like the screen says something else and you were expecting something else, then definitely go to the information desk and they will help you there. The last advice I can give you is an advice that Anime Boston has given years ago, and in fact you can check out their video. It is the golden rule. I think they labeled it the golden 5-2-1 rule or 1-2-5 rule. I don't know the exact thing. There's going to be a link that gives you that directs you to the actual video. Yeah, this rule is actually intended for the well-being of Anime Boston Con-Goers, The 1 signifies 1 shower a day, because we all know that some con-goers don't actually shower per day, so they're advising you to take a shower per day. The 2 represents meals. Yes, you are going to be eating at Anime Boston if you go to Anime Boston. Now, I would suggest not eating in the Heinz convention itself, because it is crazy expensive. I mean, $9 for a cheeseburger and fries is kind of ridiculous if you ask me. But yeah, definitely search around. There are multiple threads and multiple information showing, you know, different places. And I know Prudential Center does not have a food court anymore, which is bad for us as con-goers, but you know, we just have to live with that and definitely make all the other plans. And then we also have the 5 of the 125 rule, which is 5 hours of sleep. Yes, that's kind of important, because you will crash and burn if you decide not to go 5 hours of sleep. Good example was me last year, where I actually fell asleep for about an hour in the hallway of Anime Boston. So you don't want to be like that. But yeah, that's about it for now. Definitely stay tuned with the weather, because that is going to change, and that's kind of important, especially for those packing at this moment. And yeah, expect it to be wet, expect it to be raw, expect it to be cold, and expect to be outside for a certain amount of time, because we all know that Anime Boston's lines do end up outside at some point or another. So yeah, definitely, you know, keep aware of that. Anyway, this is Anon21486. I hope you enjoyed the video. If not, at least I tried. Anyway, later guys. See you after Anime Boston. I don't know if I'll be uploading a video immediately after Anime Boston, but I will be broadcasting live from Anime Boston on my Twitter account. So feel free to go to my Twitter, and I'm going to be using Periscope to do like little blogs here and there, or vlogs. Sorry, I've never used the word vlog, so blogs are something more familiar with me. But yeah, I'm going to be doing little videos here and there throughout the day, just to let you guys see what I'm seeing. And yeah, I'll most likely be mashing all of them up and then putting them on YouTube at a later date. But for the time being, it's going to stay primarily on Periscope. So yeah, definitely go to my Twitter account, TavicoPod, and check it out for yourself. I have nothing much to say after this, so I guess without further ado, this has been Anon21486. Later.